the LSAT is not like full of a lot of gimmicks. It's not a test of knowledge at all. It's a test of English, logic, and how hard you can work. So I would, you know, hopefully if you're here and trying to be a lawyer practicing law in English in the United States or Canada, hopefully you're pretty good at English, because nobody wants a lawyer who's not good at English. I'm not saying it has to be your native language. I'm saying you got to get pretty goddamn good at English if you're going to be a good lawyer, because we practice law in English, at least here, okay? So English, which we can all continue to get better at. I mean, look up words you don't understand, read and write a lot in English. 2, they test logic. The logic on the LSAT is really just common sense. Certain logical flaws get tested all the time, like the sufficient for necessary flaw, which is totally just common sense, okay? Or, you know, the correlation versus causation, which is also common sense. Or if you practice flaw questions for any amount of time, you're going to run across the most commonly tested flaws. And that's basically it as far as like logic. You definitely don't have to know any like logical notation or have taken any kind of a philosophy or formal logic class at all. I never did. Okay. And then the third thing is just how hard you can work. And that's actually, I think, the most important thing they're testing. We have 93 practice tests to work on. And so I don't think you need theory. I don't think you really need lessons or special tips and tricks. I think you need to do tests or sections of tests or just individual questions from tests. And then every single one you miss, you have to bust your ass to make sure that you really thoroughly understand it. And you should feel the click. Like you got to get to the point where you're the guy that everything makes you, like it makes sense. You expect it to make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, you're the squeakiest wheel in the world. Like when it doesn't make sense, you're the guy who's like, wait, what? Sorry, can you say that again? And all the MBAs are pissed because you're slowing down the proceedings, but you're there because you're the only guy who's going to call them on their bullshit. And so when it doesn't make any sense, it probably just doesn't make sense. And if you practice the LSAT enough, you'll start to realize that when it doesn't make sense, that's probably the point of the question. If you miss a question and it doesn't make sense, then the test has something to teach you. That was a long-winded answer to your question, but how are you feeling about that?
I feel pretty good about it. And yeah, I'm trying to be relentless with everything. I mean, I've been here for a week and I've improved my score by like 11 points. So I'm hoping, you know, I can shore up the last few points I want to get the score I want.
Welcome. I would encourage you to be greedy. Don't go for another few points. Go for another 11 points or go for another 22 points. Every point on the LSAT's worth like 10 grand in scholarships. Okay. So don't give up. Don't settle for like, if your goal at when you started was 165, well, you've improved 11 points in a week. Okay. Your new goal is 170 now. Like, don't give up too soon. Like, let's keep our goals high here. Tara is taking 2 practice flex tests a week too much? Nah. I've pretty much always said, and we've said on the show, taking 2 tests a week is about what most people should be doing. That is the pace at which we have the timed sections in the Demon, right? If you do all the time tests and all the time sections in the Demon, you're going to be actually doing a full, you'll do 4 sections throughout the week and then a flex on Saturday. So that would be a little bit more than 2 flex tests per week. I don't have any problem with 2 flex tests per week. That said, you know, you might want to reserve some time for drilling. You might want to reserve some time for classes. There's other stuff you can do especially besides do full tests. So 1 test a week and then some sections throughout the week is fine. Less than that is also fine. I think the important thing is that you do a little bit every day. Some days you might have more time, but just make sure you get started every day.